Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Woman's Splain. Today we have a very special guest, Selina Lee. She is CEO and co-founder of an exciting new nutrition tracking app called gymii.ai. Really innovating the space. Really excited to talk to her. So I'm going to pass it over to her to give her a little intro, and then we'll dive into her story.
Thank you. Thanks, Brooke and Stella, for having me.
Of course, we're so excited.
Oh,
Also follow Penn Grad.
Yay.
So we love Go
Love
Quakers.
Penn Grad.
Go Quakers.
Yay, go Quakers. So hi, everyone. My name is Selina. I'm the co-founder and CEO of gymii.ai. So gymii.ai is a nutrition tracking app, and it's AI powered to make things easy and social. A bit about me. So I grew up in Hong Kong, born and raised there up until college, and I was a competitive golfer. So growing up, nutrition was always really, really important for me for overall well-being, but also athletic performance. And growing up, I just had so much trouble nutrition tracking, honestly, compared to fitness tracking, which is, you don't even have to think about it. Like, I wear the Apple Watch, I wear the Oura Ring, and you don't think about it at all. And it's just an easy breeze. But when it comes to nutrition tracking, that's not the case. It's just a very cumbersome process, a very lonely process. So that was my main motivation in building Jimmy. And I was actually in finance for a little bit. I went to Penn like you guys. So did that for a little bit, loved it, learned a lot, but ultimately I wanted to go back to my roots, go back to my passion. And that's really why I started building Jimmy.
Awesome. Well, I think it's great that you were an athlete, a competitive athlete, and that really probably fueled your passion for starting something like this. So let's talk about, I guess, college. What did you study? And did you always have like this entrepreneurial spirit?
Yeah. So growing up, I really loved all STEM subjects. So I loved math, I loved science. Going into Penn, I was actually a math major.
Wow.
I don't know any math
I don't know a
majors
single
from
math
college.
major.
I need to then follow it up with that only lasted for a semester.
Okay.
It's like pre-med. It's like everyone comes in pre-med.
DRL is like the math building,
my
just
God.
for
Oh
those listening, and that building is horrible. Like, I honestly feel like going to that building every day would kill me. I don't know.
8 a.m. at DRL on Fridays, and I think I went to like 10% of it.
Yeah.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
no,
Yeah, Penn grads will understand this
Like,
so
it's
well.
just like literally the most depressing building you'll ever see. Like, I'm just like, just think about the worst building on your college campus, and that's what this is. Continue.
Okay, so math major.
Yeah, so I did that for a semester, and partially it was DRL. Like, I just couldn't stand it anymore. But also the bigger part was it was just very theoretical, and I wanted something a bit with like something with a little bit more real world applications.
Yeah,
so
totally.
then I pivoted into econ, which is still very, very math heavy, but at least there's an application there.
For sure.
And I think at Penn, I didn't really know what I wanted to do after college, honestly, and
Very normal.
quite normal for college students. So I got funneled into the finance space very, very quickly.
As one
Very-
does.
as
That's
one
what
does.
happened to
Yeah.
me. Came in,
Like,
I was like, I want to be a
ECLs.
lawyer, and then now I work in finance.
And I don't regret it at all. I learned so many things. I've had amazing colleagues in the finance space. But that was all I did in college. So all of my internships from freshman year up until a year after grad was all in finance. Specifically towards the end, I did quant research at JPMorgan.
Cool.
So that was not set up for me to enter into the entrepreneurial space at
absolutely.
all.
Also,
And
that's very like internal. Like, also even has like less even like client interaction and stuff like that. Even though very cool.
Exactly.
Has a lot of data analysis. I'm sure applicable.
It does. And I feel like that fueled my thinking in terms of how can I leverage technology and AI in terms of nutrition tracking. But in terms of the entrepreneurial spirit at all, like if you told me back in my freshman year or sophomore year that I would be building a company, I'd probably look at you and be like, no, you got the wrong person. Like that, I did not expect at all. But I would say, so my parents were both entrepreneurs.
Oh,
they
cool.
have a
Okay.
company together.
They have a company together.
Together.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I got to see
Impressive.
it growing up a
Yeah.
lot, but I think ironically that actually kind of pushed me away from the entrepreneurial.
It's super stressful and hard.
Yes, yeah, that like I saw it every single day growing up.
Totally. And then
I-
especially them working together. That must be like, it's like a family
it's never
business.
ending. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, as an entrepreneur, it's really
They're
never
never ending,
ending
but-
in terms of work-life balance. Like, it is your work and it is your life.
Yeah.
But when it's both of your parents doing the same thing, that's like multiplied by
Yeah.
2.
Totally. What type can I ask what business they had?
So they ran a telecom business.
Okay.
They are still running a telecom
Damn,
business.
okay.
And they
Stressful
did a
as
lot
hell.
of things in between as well. But yeah, very, very stressful.
Crazy.
And I feel like growing up, they were always telling me like, this is a hard business. It's much easier to be in corporate and just climb the corporate ladder, have a work-life balance, you will log off of work and then that's it. You don't have to think about it. So they were actually trying to push me away from starting a business. So when I told them like, hey, I think I'm going to quit JP, pursue my master's, do something for myself, they were like, are you sure you want to do that?
They're like, oh, we're like, yeah, are you sure? It's really hard.
And especially like as like Asian parents, like
Exactly.
I'm same. They're
Yeah.
like, whenever I'm like, oh, I want to quit, and they're like, no, you literally can't do
I
that.
know. So it was definitely a huge leap of faith. But I would like to think that on the flip side, because I did see it growing up and because my parents did go down that path, it's kind of in my blood. So
For
as
sure.
soon as
And it wasn't romanticized, which I feel like a lot of
Exactly.
times
Yeah.
it is. You definitely saw
I
like
saw
the
a lot
tough
of the
side.
tough parts as well.
Yeah.
And now that they see how much energy and how much passion I have for this company, they're super, super supportive. Like,
Yes.
definitely flipped. Like, initially, they were a
Yeah.
little
Sure.
bit like, are you sure you want to do this? But now they're the
Very
biggest
for it.
supporters.
Love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, that's awesome. So did you play golf at Penn?
Yes. I
Oh,
Oh,
did.
you did? Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Also very, I guess, appropriate. We're interviewing on Masters weekend. You must be watching,
yeah.
right?
That's
I
right.
know.
Yeah, my fiance is a big golfer too, so I don't know anything, but very impressive. Golf also, I feel like, has a lot of crossover. Well, professional being a D1 athlete, of course, but golf specifically has a lot of crossover with entrepreneurship. I think it's
Mhm.
very difficult.
Yeah.
You're never good enough, right? You're never perfect, and there's always more to work on. So,
Yes.
what do you think, sort of having that discipline, how has that helped you be an entrepreneur as
Yeah,
well,
I
and sort of, and like also your inspiration for Jimmy? Love to
Mhm.
hear that.
I think in so many ways, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drill down to the top, like 3 ways, but I think one is in terms of my work ethic.
Yeah.
So much of it, I think basically all of it, is entirely driven by my athletic experiences. Because growing up, I missed a lot of school for golf because I
Really?
started playing for the Hong Kong national team when I was
Damn.
14.
Shit.
And from then on until college, it was like
Crazy.
I would miss probably around 20 to 30% of school.
That's a lot.
It's a lot because golf tournaments last for a week.
Oh, really?
Especially when it's overseas tournaments.
Okay.
Because we would travel. We'd have to have 1 day for travel, 1 day for practice. Then it's a
Okay.
3 to 4 day tournament and then travel back.
Okay.
And when it's golf season, a lot of the tournaments are lined up back to back. So I could be
Jesus.
missing 2 weeks of school at a time easily.
Wow.
So I was known as a kid at school, always gone, and
Yeah.
always having to catch up, always having to, talk to my teachers, figure out a way to self-learn, and just that type of work ethic was built from a very, very young age. And once I got into college, it became a team sport, which is very, very interesting.
I was gonna
because-
say, yeah, for sure. Golf. I didn't know if youth golf was a team or not. Maybe high school.
So
but-
it's interesting because golf is inherently an individual sport.
Yeah.
Like there is no team aspect in terms of when you're out on the golf course, it's you
For sure.
against yourself. But the way it's calculated in terms of representing the Penn team is we take the top 4 scores out of a team of 5. So
Yeah.
in that sense, like we are in a team together. Like everything is our Penn team against other teams at schools. And being in that environment taught me so much about the entrepreneurial mindset because golf itself is, you have some high moments, but most parts are low moments. And I would
Yeah.
say that is very, very similar to a founder journey where obviously like there are amazingly happy moments that I want to highlight, but the reality of it day to day, a lot of it, you're just very, very overwhelmed. There's always a ton of things to do. And realistically, you have a lot of low moments in
Yeah.
the founder journey. So I
Mhm.
feel like having the competitive golf experience for so many years definitely prepped me super, super well for that. Also learning how to work in a team together, how to motivate people. I was co-captain my senior year, so learning how to inspire everyone to do their best and to put their all and go for a common goal while individually succeeding. Like that is a very, very unique experience and definitely transferred
Yeah.
so much over to Jimmy. And I mean, Jimmy wouldn't exist if it wasn't for my golfing journey. Like so much of it was my personal frustrations when I was an athlete. And because of that, we can talk about it a little bit more later too, but I am bringing Jimmy a lot back to the athlete community, and we have a bunch of professional athletes now being our Jimmy brand ambassadors because nutrition is really important for
Yeah.
everyone, but for athletes it's even more important. So
For
bringing
sure.
it back to that community and bringing it back to why I started building this company in the
Yeah.
first place, that has been a huge motivator for Jimmy.
It's
We should
amazing.
definitely dive into the app, but I wanted to ask, like, what was the exact moment when you're at your JP job,
Mhm.
probably working grueling hours, you're like, okay, I gotta quit and I want to pursue Jimmy full time. Like, what was that moment?
Yeah. So it wasn't an overnight thing at all. When I joined JP after grad, 2 months in, my team went through a lot of reorganization. which is quite common in big companies.
Yeah,
but
all the time.
yeah,
right?
I love my team. Shout out to the quant team at JPMorgan. But they were honestly such big supporters because at that point, I got really, really close to my team, everyone senior on my team. And I would start telling them like, hey, I love the space. Like I love finance. I've learned a lot, but at the same time, I feel like I have something bigger to do. And I'm young. I don't have much obligations yet. I don't have a family yet. Like I feel like if there's a time, it's right now. And they were just so supportive when I started opening up to them. And they're like, you have so much energy. Like I can see how you can be in the quant space for a while, but at the same time, if there's a passion and you want to do something, like we're all in for it. So
Aw.
hearing them say that to
That's
me
huge.
was
That is
That's
not
actually
common.
amazing. That's definitely
That is
not common. I
at
feel like it's
all.
the
It's
opposite.
not common.
Yeah,
It's literally opposite.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
usually the opposite. And my friends back then, they were cautioning me against like, are you sure you want to
tell them. Yeah, I was like,
this?
wait, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even the fact that you like telling them is like scary. Yeah, exactly.
It was
That's
really,
great.
really scary, but it was such a supportive community. And till now, I'm super close with them and they know
awesome.
exactly what's happening with Jimmy all the time. But hearing that from them, and I also wanted to go back to school because I knew that at Penn, I did have a minor in data science, but I knew that wasn't enough to build a tech company. And I wanted to strengthen my technical skills a little bit. So I applied to master's in computer science, not expecting much, but got into Cornell Tech, and it's been an amazing community there as well. So it wasn't an overnight thing, but it was a slow process of gaining support around my closest community. And then when the time come, there really was no looking back. I was like, there's no reason not to do this.
Yeah.
So I started tinkering with the idea in like late 2023. And then by August 2024, had fully quit, started my master's program, and also started building Jimmy.
Wow. So
Yeah.
did you have the product already when you were quitting?
So I was starting to build it out myself. And keep in mind, I don't come from like any SWE or full stack background. So I was learning everything on the go as well.
Wow.
That's so impressive.
That is really impressive.
You can't just build an app. Like,
It was a very, very steep learning curve, but I think that's also an inspiration for anyone
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
audience.
Anyone can
who-
learn, right?
Anyone can learn.
ChatGPT. That's
Exactly,
I don't
like,
know. ChatGPT is great.
Best tutor out
Better
there.
tutor ever, right?
Yeah, because I would say like when I took some computer science courses at Penn, it was so intimidating back then. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah, like
remember
cis
being,
101 or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also did like a minor in CS, and it
Mhm.
was like, terrifying. It was terrifying.
Right, and, like,
it was also a pretty toxic environment,
Yeah.
I think.
because also
Yeah.
everyone, I don't know, at least I felt that way at Penn. Like everyone always felt like they were 10 steps ahead of me.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so then-
especially being like a minor, like obviously as someone who's majoring in is gonna be better than you, right? So you're just kind of
Mhm.
like, okay, like I already am out of my depth, and
Yeah, I definitely felt that way. But
Yeah.
if it's an inspiration to anyone, like if I can do it, anyone can do it.
No,
Um,
it's true. Honestly,
It
it's
really is true.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I built the MVP within 2 months by myself.
Okay.
And I launched it to like close friends and family for beta testing. They gave me a lot of feedback. I just kept iterating. But at some point, and I'm sure we'll touch on this as well, I knew I needed to bring in someone with a little bit more technical experience. So now I'm the CEO. I brought in a CTO, Zach. He's amazing. So I built it to a certain point, and I needed someone to scale it up.
Yeah.
And how did you meet Zach?
There you go.
Yeah. So I met Zach through the Cornell Tech program, which is another reason why I'm so thankful to be in school, because it's exposed me to so many amazing people. So Zach was actually one of my first beta testers. I met him during orientation. He was struggling with his weight gain journey, and he was nutrition tracking on pen and paper.
Oh,
Like he
wow.
was literally writing everything down, and I had sent my app, which was a very minimal app at that point, to all the Slack channels. I was like, hey, if anyone wants a beta test, here's my app. So he reached out and he's like, I'm loving your app. Like, this is amazing. It's been amazing for my weight gain journey. Can I join the team? So the first 2 months, we were essentially figuring things out, like seeing if we worked together. It was very, very clear from the get-go that he had the right experiences. So he's a 3-time founding engineer at consumer tech startup. So he knew way, way more than me, and I was learning so much from him as well. But it was important for me to figure out if we could work well together, because it's one thing to have complementary skill sets. It's another thing to actually every single day, like he's the person that I talk to the most, and to see whether we can have that type of working relationship was really important to me. So we tested things out for around 2 months, and it's just been so amazing. He officially joined as CTO in December, so it's been a few months now, and it's just been so efficient working together. Communication style, like perfect. Everything has just been so going so smoothly, and it's allowed me to step back from the technical side as well and do more of the business side of things. So right now he handles most of the technical stuff. I would just whatever needs to be, like whatever fire needs to be, what does that say?
Put out.
Yeah, I would essentially fill that gap. So yeah, that is how I met him.
That's
Awesome.
amazing. I love that. I mean, do you think having a co-founder has helped, like, I mean, in general has helped like the mental side of it too? I mean, I know we actually meet a lot of solo founders. I don't know how they do it. So
yeah, I think depending on who you ask, people will have very different experiences and opinions. Props to all of the solo founders out there because it is difficult. I think I didn't realize how much I valued it until I had a co-founder, because as a founder, you have so many things to think about. It's not like corporate where there is kind of that work-life balance and you can separate it out from your personal life. It just constantly consumes you during the day, at night. You're just constantly thinking about different things. So having a co-founder to bounce ideas off of, or even just say all your frustrations out, and sometimes they will have completely different opinions and you're like, oh, maybe I was overthinking that, or maybe, hey, this is actually more important than we think. So having someone to go through that journey together, to celebrate the wins, but most importantly when you're going through a low moment, to have someone there with you, I think is so valuable. Also, apart from having a co-founder, like I think surrounding yourself with people who really support you. Like I'm so thankful to all my friends, best friends from Penn, best friends from home, that they're so supportive. My family as well. Like that is just so important. And I really think it's, when you're building a company, it is very daunting, and it's so important to have that community with you when you're going through everything.
Yeah. Are there other founders at your master's program?
Yes. So
that's probably also very helpful, having that network.
Super helpful. So Cornell Tech's program is very entrepreneurship focused.
Awesome.
So everyone there, it's actually part of our curriculum that you have to build a startup.
That's actually great.
There's
awesome.
a few
that
tracks,
worked out well for you guys.
Yeah, it worked out really well. But there's a couple of tracks, but most people choose the startup track, and in the startup track, it's exactly what it sounds like. You just build a startup. So that has been amazing to meet all the other founders at Cornell Tech as well, going through the exact same thing. And they bring in a lot of wonderful guests as well who talk through their founder journey. So the program is very unique because I think it's a lot less traditional, in the sense of like, it's not just like you do all these CS classes and then you learn all these things and it's might take you another layer to figure out how to apply it to whatever you're doing. I feel like Cornell Tech set up their program very well, where there are the technical skills, but then you also have to take a lot of business classes, learn go-to-market strategy, all those things. And then there's the additional layer curriculum of actually building a startup. So it's been very helpful in my journey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's amazing. I love that.
Let's talk about the app itself.
Talk about the app. Let's talk
I know
about,
it's like a better like my fitness. Like, I religiously use that in college.
Yeah, me too.
But like such terrible UI UX.
And there's like a social aspect too, which is interesting for fitness tracking. So our nutrition tracking. So we'd love to just like hear about it. Like
Yeah, so Gymii is a AI-powered nutrition tracking app, and we are aiming to make nutrition tracking easy and social. So I was also a MyFitnessPal user, and I did not like the experience.
No, I mean, it's bad.
It's also like kind of toxic. Like there's like, oh, you ate too many calories.
Yeah. Okay. So there's so many
and the
projected
weight thing. The projected weight thing is really rough.
Yeah, I did not like that. So first part of Gymii is we want to remove all of the manual, annoying, cumbersome process out of nutrition tracking. So all you have to do is take a photo or video of your food, and our AI will automatically analyze it to the calories, micronutrients, etc.
Wow.
So everything.
So you're just constantly updating it, I'm assuming.
Constantly updating, and we have verified nutrition databases, native databases in the back end as well. So for example, the USDA food database, the Nutrition 5K database, we're constantly updating it and adding it, but everything is verified in the back end.
Cool.
But essentially, I just wanted to remove all the cumbersome and manual process out of nutrition tracking and make it really approachable for people who have nutrition tracked it before, people who want to but are too intimidated by the current process. So that's the first part of it. And then you mentioned that there's social aspects, so that's the second part of it. When I was nutrition tracking, I just found it to be such a lonely journey.
Especially as an athlete.
Right.
I can imagine that's like very hard, especially in
Yeah.
college, right? When you're surrounded by people who are very different.
Yeah.
I certainly was not nutrition tracking in college. Yeah.
No, I like it was me, but it was also people around me. And when I saw like just how much of a chore it was and how lonely it was, I knew that that level of community was missing in a nutrition tracking app. So that's what we wanted to bring with Jimmy. So we have a social feed where people can add their friends, see what their friends are going through, what they're eating every day. And it's a very personal type of sharing that it's not meant for a ton of friends, but for the 3 or 4 close friends, or like even for that one accountability buddy. Like I have a user who she only has her husband on the app because they just like know what each other are going through and they can support each other. So that's the part in terms of making it social. And you also mentioned about the weight thing being very, very sensitive. And that was something I really, really disliked in some of the other apps where it's just so weight focused, so number focused. And that is not the point. Like as an athlete back then, I was never trying to lose weight. I was trying to gain weight. I was trying to gain muscle and hit the ball further. And
for sure,
that I felt like was never fulfilled by MyFitnessPal when you just saw all the weight progress stuff. And I'm like, that's not why I'm trying to nutrition track.
Yeah. Also, I think it's been like, I mean, this is pretty recent research, but like your weight really has very little to do with your actual health. Like especially for women who have like higher fat, like, you know, higher body fat percentages. Also, our weight like just fluctuates so much with our cycle, so that's like really crazy. That like our water weight like obviously fluctuates, our water retention that really can affect you up to like 5 to 10 pounds, which is like wild. And I think that just like really hurts your mental health, honestly.
Definitely.
And I think, I mean, obviously I think like our generation has a healthier relationship with food, but I think having like constant daily weigh-ins is very unhealthy, but like a very common habit. Certainly one that like I've had in my life. So I agree. Also, I think too there is this like side of nutrition tracking that I'm sure Jimmy solves, but in general, especially Americans, do not get enough just nutrients, right? We don't eat enough vegetables. We don't eat enough healthy things. So how is jymii.ai also aiming to kind of solve this of like making sure you have the right kind of macros?
Yeah, you nailed it, honestly.
Okay, yeah.
So if people do have weight goals, we can support that, obviously.
For sure.
And during the onboarding process, we ask exactly what their goals are. But if their goal is more to keep track of their iron levels or the specific micronutrient, we can help with that as well. So because we have the verified databases in the back end, the amount of information out there is actually super, super specific. And we are able to track, for example, the exact amount of milligrams of iron in your food. So that is something that we're still constantly improving and making it more and more accurate. But as of right now, it's really open to anyone with a diverse range of goals. And partially, like I hinted to the fact that we have athlete ambassadors now as well. And it's been great talking to them and iterating the product for them as well. Because for them, like weight is rarely their goal, honestly. Like it depends on the sport. It depends exactly what they're going through. But a lot of
like
times,
wrestling or something.
Would be completely different. But learning to see like the nuances of what people want to track, and it's not exactly like calorie or weight focused. Like that's something that we want to deliver on Jimmy. I mean, that's even in the name, honestly, because a lot of the other apps out there that have popped up that are AI focused, a lot of them have the term like cal in the name, which I understand. And it's like, it is very obvious what it does when you look at the name. But for us, when we were thinking of a name, it was very important for us to have that broader sense of this is a fitness and overall well-being type of app. And Jimmy is like a cute play on the word gym, obviously. And I wanted to remove that specific point towards nutrition or towards like calories or numbers and make it more holistic and wellness focused. So yeah, it's even in the name.
I think this is like, I love the education part of it, like what you were saying about like people don't even know what to track in terms of macros. Like I know there's like this crazy like protein, craze right now, and people are trying to up their protein. And like I recently found out you have to like eat a gram of protein per pound or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's like over 100, grams of protein a day. Like I cannot meet that goal. So I feel like with something like Jimmy, like you can probably input, your goal, right? Or does it like do it for you? Like
you can input your goal. Okay. And then if you don't, we'll just try to estimate for you. But for most people, like during the onboarding process, we make it really easy to know exactly what they're trying to do. And there is the weight part if they want to input that. But for the most part, we actually ask them, are you trying to gain more strength? Are you trying to boost your immune system? Are you trying to gain more mental clarity, and based off of that,
wow.
we'll be able to
Interesting.
extract what micronutrients we should be tracking for them. Because
That's
awesome. People wouldn't know. Like if I'm trying,
No.
if people are trying to gain mental clarity, like which
What would you
micronutrients
use?
would you
no
want to
idea
track?
for sure.
So,
It's actually really great information.
Yeah.
Right?
Even, like when I was training for a marathon, I didn't realize I had to
Wow.
eat so much like protein and carbs. Even I was like,
Yeah.
oh my carbs,
Yeah.
I can't eat anything. But like with Jimmy, I would have been like, oh, I need to eat like make this goal.
yeah.
And, like fiber is huge. That like
Fiber
a
is
lot of
huge.
people don't know what's even in fiber.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure
Yeah.
you know,
What
take
is
a
fiber
photo,
even in? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
like I don't know, cereal.
Yeah.
Cereal. Oatmeal. I think.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
Yeah, oatmeal
That's a
has
big
high
one.
fiber.
Yeah.
Yeah, the education part of it is really, really important. And also that ties in super well to the community aspect as well, because people think that nutrition tracking is a very lonely thing that, I mean, in some cases
There's
I
some
can
shame
see
with it too. I
also
think
very
there's some
sensitive.
shame.
it's
Yeah.
very
Sensitive.
sensitive. There's a lot of toxicity that could come
Yeah.
out of it. So during our beta testing, we were refining the community and social aspect a lot. And it's gotten to a stage now where it's very healthy, it's positive. You can think of it as like a positive social media. I mean, we just want this to be a tool where people can go through a health and wellness journey together and make it feel super, super supportive. It was heavily inspired by Strava. So I mean, in the app, you can basically scroll through and see what your friends are eating. We're
Give
gonna
them
add
kudos.
give them kudos. We're gonna have like sharing recipes soon. So
Oh, cute.
we're literally just scratching the surface of what it means to have a community in terms of your health and wellness and nutrition journey. But it's laid a really strong foundation for us to build more features that users are requesting. And also, there is research showing that if you have a social accountability and community structure in nutrition, you're 3 times more likely to hit your goal.
Yeah.
But there just hasn't been a platform where that is like one of the main focus of the platform. So it was really, really important for us to bring that into Jimmy. So for example, like training for a marathon, you could add friends who are going through the same
Yeah,
thing,
sure.
share different inspiration,
Yeah.
different recipes, and it's just meant to be a very positive and
love
supportive
that.
community.
No, I love that. And right now, do you pay to use the app or what is you do? Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like a
so-
subscription, I'm assuming.
So currently it's a freemium model.
Okay.
So we do allow users
Strava.
to, yeah, kind of like
It's like
Strava. You have free credits in the beginning to just try out the app. We were experimenting with different structures, but this is the best structure where we can have the users try it out for free, see if you like it, see if it fits into your daily routine. The social part is always free. So the community aspect is something that I just want to be there for people. And even
Yeah.
if you don't nutrition track or it's not part of your journey, but you want to support a friend that is,
For sure.
you can add them on it. You can give them kudos. Just be there for them. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to nutrition track too. But if you decide that that is going to be a part of your journey, then there is a paywall from then on. So it's $5.99 monthly right now. We're running an April promo. So yeah, that is the current structure right now.
that's a good structure. Just because I was just curious. I was like, because there is so much you can do with the social aspect too.
Yeah.
Like especially, I mean, I think of like all these reasons people would use it, right? And just general life, but also like, I don't know, you have a health issue that like you've really restrictive diet, for example, right? Like you're celiac or gluten-free, you know, whatever, you have a really, whatever reason, like it's actually like, it's pretty hard to get all the nutrients you want. So you need to track it maybe more than a normal person.
Yeah.
Or like pregnancy, for example. All of these things like I feel like there's a lot of exceptions that maybe would drive someone to like start tracking.
Mhm.
And then also would maybe drive someone to also like if you were, for example, gone through like the journey of being celiac and now found a way to do it and you want to help other people like write and comment on it. But there's also a lot of ways to monetize that as well with like creator content. Sorry.
So what's the consumer journey? So download the app and then let's say you cooked yourself like salmon, broccoli. You take a photo of it. So it doesn't
And
need to
then
be an
identify?
actual label.
Yeah, so I don't know if I can just show it right now. Okay, maybe that one. I can just talk through it.
Yeah, talk through it.
So yeah, you download the app. So during the onboarding process, we ask your goals, and based off of that, we map to what nutrients we should be tracking for you. On top of that, we also ask like any dietary restrictions, any allergies, and those are all information that will be saved essentially for every single meal that you output. So for example, I drink an iced latte every single day. So
do
if I
Love
take a
it. It's
photo of
great.
it, but I am not lactose intolerant, but if someone took a photo of the same exact thing and they are lactose intolerant, it would be able to differentiate between like whole milk versus like dairy-free
Wow.
milk. Yeah, so
Okay.
user preferences and like saving that is really, really important
Yeah.
and is very customizable and will be applicable to every single meal after.
And I guess you can
So
always edit it too. So it says
you can
ice
always
latte,
edit it.
and then you can
Yes.
say, like, oh, oat milk, whatever.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
cappuccino.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
And then after that, exactly like what you said. So if you cooked a meal, if you went out to eat with your friends, you just take a photo, or if it's like family style, a lot of dishes, you can just scan the whole
Really?
That is
scan
so
the whole
cool.
That's
meal
actually
with a video.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it will just automatically super quickly break it down to everything.
How accurate is it?
Ingredient by ingredient. So on the accuracy part, right now I would say it's around 80% accuracy.
Wow. That's actually
which is-
crazy.
Yeah, it's honestly incredible how
Yeah.
powerful AI
AI.
and specifically vision language models are.
Wow.
And because we have that additional step of linking it to nutrition databases out there, that is the level of accuracy that helps essentially
Wow.
in terms of the breakdown of each ingredient. And on top of that, cuisines is something that I really wanted to nail because a lot of the previous tracking apps that I've tried, it's a lot better for Western foods. And I eat a lot of Asian food, so I was like, I need it to be accurate or as accurate for cultural foods as well. So on Jimmy, we actually have a cuisine tag that helps a lot. So for example, if I'm eating Chinese food or Korean food or whatever, if you tag that, it will be able to know that it's Korean and will be able
More
to
accurate.
more
Wow.
accurate. And we are also in the process of adding cultural food databases. So
Wow.
for example, we have a Japanese specific database right now where if you tag Japanese, it'll only look at that database and not look
Wow.
at, well, it'll, if it doesn't find a Japanese database, then I'll like try to look
search.
into other
Yeah.
ones. But prioritizing that is really, really important.
Wow, it's incredible.
And also, if you're out eating with friends, in the past when I was using MyFitnessPal, that was the biggest
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah,
Like, if
no,
you're
you literally-
sharing things
you
with
can't.
people,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was just impossible to track.
Yeah, you just give up. You
Yeah,
basically give up.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
for
on
sure.
Jimmy, so you can first take a photo or video of the whole meal and then easily slide portions. So for example, if you shared
Wow.
it with five
Five
people
people.
and you just slide it down, so that's like on the overall level. But then if like for a specific dish you ate a little bit more of that, it depends on the user, like how accurate they
Yeah.
want to be. But we make it really, really easy to adjust anything afterwards. And if it did get anything wrong, we also have a regeneration thing where you can essentially tell it what it got wrong, like, oh, that was oat milk instead of whole milk or something specific like that, and it'll regenerate with that extra knowledge.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like a blend of having it to get to that level of threshold of
And
accuracy
then
just
know
from
you
the
too, and your
yeah.
habits probably.
Yeah,
This is so incredible
exactly.
because I feel like this is the reason I stopped using MyFitnessPal. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so annoying. I have to go through and like look at every single ingredient. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what's in like my Korean soup that, you know, my mom made or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's so like using AI, of course, is very powerful.
Yeah.
How do you collect like customer feedback now? Is it just constantly like the people that use your app kind of contact you? Like, how do you iterate?
Yeah, so it's been really, really important to us to stay really close with our first early adopters. So while we were beta testing for half a year. So
Wow.
during that time, it was just constantly doing user interviews. And in the beginning, I was interviewing my friends and I'd have to be like, okay, I need you to be harsh with me because you can't be nice to me right now because that's the only way I can improve. So that was how we started off. Now that we're publicly launched, so we have strangers and just random people using the app, we will reach out to the people who are using it a lot and offer them extra credits or some incentive where then they sit down with us and do a user interview. And that is just, it's been such a great iterating process because you can hear exactly first why they love the product, which is always nice to hear, but the more important part is what's not working for them, and iterating on that is really, really important. And we'll just sit down with them and see how they use the app, and I'll be like, oh, that button, they do not know that exists.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that's just when you're building it. Obviously, everything is super intuitive to me using
Yeah.
the app, but I literally built it with Zach, so I know where everything is. So on the UI UX side, like seeing how customers interact with it has been super, super important. Seeing exactly what they need. So one example, for example, is on the social aspect side, that has something that we have been iterating so much because initially, for example, if you logged a meal, all the information would be there for your friends to see. And people did not really like that, honestly. Like the numbers were kind of sensitive. In terms of this sharing aspect, it was more about how can I support you in a way that I can see you reaching your goals, or I can see the micronutrient tags, but the numbers were not something that people really loved.
I can understand that.
Yeah, so we removed that, and now it's great. And then seeing what people want and consistently talking to them, that has been super, super critical as we iterate and grow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many, who is your target consumer? I mean, I guess you obviously have a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're using kind of a professional athlete channel, promote it.
Yeah.
But who's kind of your target consumer?
So that is also something where beta testing helped a lot to figure out. Because initially I was like, this could help a wide range of people.
Totally. Yeah.
But through beta testing, it was really important that the initial beachhead customer base is the fitness enthusiasts. It's the people who have nutrition tracked before, have experienced frustrations with MFP or another app, and it's nutrition tracking, it wouldn't be an entirely new thing to their routine. It's been harder to capture the people where this is a new thing and they'd have to introduce a new aspect to their life. We eventually do want to capture that market, but right now it is the fitness enthusiasts. It's the people who are very self-disciplined and will be willing to do this and find value in the social aspect, because there is also a subset of people who after beta testing still prefer to keep everything private, which totally makes sense. And you can do that on Jimmy. You can just choose to not have any friends, but it is a big part of the app. So currently, the target base is the fitness enthusiast, likes the social aspect, maybe has used Strava before and has experienced the social aspect and the positivity from that. And athletes has been a huge part of that, because for them, it's a big part of their journey. They can add their teammates.
For sure.
Their coaches can see what they're eating.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a big one. And a lot of people use virtual coaches now, especially when they're training. That's a big one. Just having that sort of accountability system in an app that's easy to use. So that is our initial beachhead. And as we grow, we'll venture off to the sides and capture a bigger market as well. Yeah, that makes total sense.
So great.
Do you connect with other fitness apps? Like, for example, if you're using an Apple Watch, does it connect with it and provide recommendations?
Yes. So in terms of fitness tracking, it's connected to Apple Health and Google Fit.
Cool.
So for example, my Aura and Apple Watch is synced to my Apple Health, and that is all synced to Jimmy as well.
Yeah, because I feel like Apple Health can sync to anything pretty much. Right?
Yeah. And that is really important, because if I just did a big workout, I know that I should be replenishing and eating more. Yeah. And that was definitely something that we needed to add, especially with the athletes. Like every day just looks so different for them, depending if they're training, if they're in recovery mode, like that is
different seasons, off season, whatever.
Exactly. So it's connected in that sense. Like it'll adjust your daily intake based on your daily burn and your activity levels.
That's awesome. That's really
mentioned like professional athletes being ambassadors.
Yes.
So how did you kind of build out that program, and what are you thinking about for marketing?
Yeah, so I built out that program. It honestly hasn't been that long since we started launching.
You only launched a year ago?
So the app has been live on the App Store and Google Play Store for a week and a month.
Oh my god! Okay, a month and a week.
Yeah, a month and a week.
Oh my god! Okay, so really, really recent. Okay,
yeah, super recent.
How many downloads do you have? Do you know?
We have close to 1,000 downloads.
Wow, that's amazing! Congrats! That's a huge deal.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal.
When we were beta testing, it wasn't on the App Store, so we used TestFlight, and then I'd have to send the invite link. So we did that for a while, and I wanted to make sure that by the time it hit the App Store and Google Play Store, that I know it's a good product that I'm proud to share. So we did spend some time on the beta testing, but yeah, it's a really, really new product, and amazing. I didn't start thinking about the go-to-market strategy and how to actually do the marketing side until like a week before launch. And I was like, oh my god, we need to actually be able to promote this.
You're so in the weeds with the product itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were just trying to, I mean, it's a pretty complicated product. There's a lot of parts,
There's a lot of parts.
So you're just trying to make it work.
Exactly.
Right?
And I was trying to build a product that I would feel confident then looking at the promotional aspect. I didn't want to focus too much on that before I knew I had a really good product.
It is a type of thing too that I feel like if people had a bad experience, they would just delete it.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Sure.
And then that will just ruin the opinion forever.
Yeah.
And so how I found the athlete ambassadors, I was really thinking of what is unique to me as a co-founder and what can I take from my experiences and my background. And once I started thinking like more internally, it was just so easy. I was like, wait, like I have connections to like professional golfers and professional athletes, and these are people who are beta testing already and they love the app. So why not just take it a step further and have them be the face and representatives of the brand. And it's just been, they've been so kind to me. And right now we have 9 professional athletes, professional golfers, also Olympians in tennis, Olympians in volleyball. And they are just like the biggest champions for Jimmy. And it's been so nice just talking to them, connecting with them, building for them as well, like whatever features they're requesting, whatever's not working. We would listen to all of that and also build for them.
Sure. I'm sure there's things you didn't think about.
And it's just been so amazing bringing it back to my roots and looking back at the athlete community, because I do feel like once I stepped away from competitive golf, it was a community that I still feel very close to, but in reality, I'm not really playing competitively anymore. Like, I'm still really close to the girls at Penn. I'm close to my friends from home who have turned professional, but I'm not in that space every single day. So it's been really nice connecting now my passion for my company with my roots and be able to build out this brand ambassador strategy that is just, I don't know, it's just so wonderful.
It's amazing.
I get so
it's a connection of like all of your worlds and also like why you started it, right? And it's good to remind yourself, like, it's really easy to get caught up in like trying to be successful and forgetting, you know, why you started it in the first place and who you're serving. Yeah. That's awesome.
In terms of scale, like, you could totally target like D1 athletes, student athletes,
exactly.
schools, make that like a social aspect.
Yeah. We've been exploring that a lot.
Like also like bodybuilders. Like I feel like people do the bodybuilding competitions. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
And gyms.
Gyms. Like I feel like Equinox would like use it. Like I don't know.
All of those are avenues we're thinking about.
I guess speaking of, where do you see Jimmy going? Where would you like it to be in the next 5 years?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm thinking big. Like, I want this to be the #1 nutrition tracking app. Like, when people think of sharing when running, they think of Strava. I want that to be the case for Jimmy. And we've set up a really strong foundation now. And now it's just a matter of fact of getting the product out there to as many people as possible. So we're focusing a lot on our marketing, distribution, go-to-market channels right now. And the athletes has been a big part of that. And then once we start bringing it to colleges as well, hopefully like the network effect will take place. And because we do have that social feed, that introduces a lot of potential partnerships there as well. We've been thinking about how to partner with CPG brands and how to make it just out there and people will know about it. So hopefully that is the direction that we're headed towards. And we've been putting so much efforts into just getting it out there to as many people as possible.
That's amazing. That's so awesome.
This is a great
I'm so excited.
Journey. Yeah, I feel like
I'm so excited to see where it goes.
As a Penn alum, I'm so excited to support another woman
we love
founder. If there's one piece of advice that you'd love to give to a first-time founder, what would it be?
I would say, don't let anyone telling you no be anything but a motivator for you. Because I think in my journey, as much as there were really supportive people, there were also people who were big doubters and people who were like just not believing in the journey and like quitting a stable job and going for it. And I think learning to either just drown out the no's, that's one path. The path that I have taken is the other path of letting that be one of my motivators, because at the end, like, you really have to trust yourself, know your worth, and just go for it. And what better time to go for it when you're young and like somewhat obligation free, and just let the no's be one of your strongest motivators to go through it every single day.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, I think that's a great place to end. So where can we find Jimmy? Obviously, it's in the App Store.
Yeah. So,
but where else? You have socials?
Yeah. So on the App Store, Google Play Store, it's gymii.ai. So that's gymii.ai. And then we are also active on Instagram, gymii.ai, LinkedIn, gymii.ai, TikTok, gymii.ai.
Amazing.
So just reach out. If you do try and download the app, completely open to feedback, so just DM us whenever with feedback.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Selina. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. If you have any questions, Selina or us, reach out to us, womansplainpod1@gmail.com or womansplainpod and all our socials. Thank you so much for being here, and
thank you for having me.
Super excited to see your journey.
Go download Jimii.ai.
Go download Jimii.ai. I'm gonna do it right now.